We are your official source for all things acoustic, and today we're going to be looking at these really cool color series, limited edition Myrtlewood series from Breedlove. This is the Breedlove Oregon limited edition colors. We're going to tell you all about them, how they're made, what they're made of.
Jinx.
You owe me a soda. And then we're going to tell you what they sound like, and we're even going to rate them. We're going to let you hear what they sound like. We're doing all of that in one video, and it's all coming up right here.
I'm stuck on you.
Needed a friend, and the way I feel now, I guess I'll be with you to the end. Yes, I'm on my way.
Well, Jeremy, we're back, and we're going to talk about Breedlove.
I'm not sure that
again.
color matches your outfit there. The thing with these guitars, you got to kind of coordinate with them.
You got to
when you dress, you got to wear the right clothes to go with them. Yeah, these are a very cool series. If you guys are just now tuning into the Acoustic Shop, where have you been?
Yeah.
And thank you for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and also share this to anyone else you know that has ever heard of the word guitar,
that loves purple,
acoustic, strings,
green.
Any of those things. If they have heard of it, make sure they subscribe as well. Share it with them. We're going to talk about a really cool instrument here, and if you'd like to hear the full version of that, Stuck on You, John sang his Little Richie Heine off, and
what that means, Lionel
Richie, Little Richie. We'll do a Little Richie song next time. He sang his Lionel Richie Hind off on Stuck on You. We got a link in the description to a full video of that. And you can check that out as well. But we're going to talk about these colorful guitars from Breedlove.
Yeah, Breedlove has been doing some really cool things, and they are really pushing forward. Those of you who have not been so familiar, there are two series to the Breedlove builds. There is their mainstream, which is what you probably mostly see in most music store, which is their import line. And those are the more mass-produced style guitars, although they're doing some amazing things in that line as well, with sustainability and the factories that they're using and all that for their import lines. But then we get into this, which is their USA build or Oregon builds, and that's where they're really kind of pushing forward some really cool, innovative things. And now, besides the headstock shape, which we covered on a whole nother video, the style of how they bolt on their necks, the build, the sonic qualities, all of that stuff, we've gone even further, and they've come up with pioneered ways to do new colors and stuff while still keeping some really cool woods and the figuring of those woods into the build process. And
so Breedlove is definitely more of a contemporary or progressive style guitar build.
I'm going to say
from the headstock to just the body shapes that they choose.
Yeah.
But then taking it a step further and being very playful with color, which in the acoustic world has been lacking. We're such a traditional model of that traditional acoustic guitar look, a sunburst or a standard top. Electric guitar players have all the fun. They get all these cool glitters, they get golds, they get all the crazy guitar combinations and colors.
Let's take a look at why, though. I mean, acoustic guitars, a lot of what you're paying for are the woods because they sonically make a huge difference.
Yeah.
And what's awesome about that is not only sonically are they making a big difference, but they also have a visual impact. And the woods that they're using in all these, they don't want to kill the sonic qualities because you could do paint jobs like similar to what are done
black tops and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, you could even do the paint jobs that are similar on electric guitars, which are literally a paint job with a lacquer over top of them. But that's going to affect, the tone of that instrument. Heavier paints
let it resonate
and
as
stuff.
much.
So they're working with ways of kind of building around that, and it's using the lacquers
Stains and lacquers
and pigments within inside that. It's kind of a very unique thing to have to do, and it makes it tougher.
Doing it where you can still see that wood grain and that very pretty figuring to it. When you turn it in the light, the wood just kind of reflects in a different way. I think they've done a great job with it. Even so I guess talk about the series. I guess what do they call it? The color.
Yeah, I think they're just a limited color series that they're doing, and they've named all these after alcohol. So for all of you alcoholics out there, this is exactly what you need right here. So, but what is I think unique about this particular color series? They've done colors in the past, but what they really had to work on mastering was this fade, which you're going to see a more prominent color. It's still
so this one is the Mojito or the mint Mojito.
The Mojito,
exactly. The J is silent.
And this one's the Pinot.
Could I have a Pinot Noir, please? No, this is I like the way that it's kind of got this dark band around the bottom, but slowly fades in. I especially like that one because it changes like 4 different gradients and then back to where it started up here at the top.
And it's all based on the same color, and it even fades all the way up to, and they'll show this in the shots, but into the headstock, all the way through the neck, and it just kind of works this gradient, and that's a tough thing to do do, because again, when we're dealing with these colors, it's the amount of color to work its way up, and then we need to again stay consistent with the finish color and the finish material in order to not have the resonance change of the acoustic. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like honestly,
It's not an easy. You have to be pretty skilled at doing stains and lacquers and spraying them to make it a very nice gradual fade like that.
Well, Tom was telling us that they spent quite a bit of time trying to figure out how they were going to make these guitars do this color graduation, and yet again, it's all about the sound quality that's coming out of these guitars. They're doing, first of all, it's an all myrtle wood. That's not a common wood. So they have mastered a way of getting that wood to create its own sonic characteristic, and they don't want to kill that with the finishes, but they want to show off those finishes. So I think that's really, really cool. And yes, we had the first one of these, which we don't have anymore. We sold it
right
immediately, which was the Tequila Sunrise. Then came out the Mojito, and now the Pinot, and there's actually, I think, one or two more colors that are going to work out of this. We have the Earthsong that is available.
Color.
We do have that one also available, and I think there's a couple more that are coming after this. So it's a really cool series that, again, what I think needs to be kind of just readdressed over and over is to do this takes a whole lot more than just color spraying.
Yep.
And that's where I was the biggest surprise with this. This is not just.
And
a
honestly,
paint
this
job.
isn't going to be for everyone. Some people are going to scoff at it, and the colors are just too loud. But again, this has been going on in the electric guitar world forever, and those colors aren't for everyone either. If you want a real traditional one, you just get more of a standard black or something a little bit more subdued, just a standard red. But if you really want to glitz it out, you can do glitter finishes, you can do all that. I think in the acoustic world, there are a lot of young players out there, a lot of females entering in the industry that might be interested in something a little bit more colorful and playful.
I'm telling this old guy right here is going to go at it right here.
If I were Taylor Swift, I would be very wealthy, and I would own at least 3 of these in each color.
If you were Taylor Swift, can we just stop right there? If Jeremy were Taylor Swift, he'd have a mustache.
She would have a mustache. Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a cool thing to be able to give some new options for people. And we've talked about this for a while, that getting some young people, young females especially, to play guitar has been kind of an industry thing. They've talked about it at NAMM, that it is kind of a male-dominated world for some reason. And I think it's cool to be breaking some boundaries and pushing a little bit more to do something different and not just your granddad's guitar.
Sure.
So again, it won't be for everybody, but for some people this will be very appealing.
So this particular limited edition series, like I said, we talked about the colors that is coming in. This is in a concert size, which is a lot like the grand auditorium size that we all know. They have their own way of labeling it, but these are all in a concert size. The price points of these start at $28.99. I believe that's for the non-cutaway without a pickup, and $29.99 with the pickup. These ones that do have the pickup have the LR Bags Anthem in them, and that's a really, really great option to have. So it's as far as tone woods on this, it is actually a myrtlewood on myrtlewood, which is actually really cool because that's the thing that Breedlove has been really specializing in.
Sustainability.
A regional wood up in Oregon that has its own cool figure. Every single piece has been unique and
It's like farm to table, except it's forest to guitar shop.
Okay, I'll go with that. Anyway, a myrtlewood on myrtlewood. It does have the rock maple necks on each one of these. The head plate has African or ebony, as its cover on that. Body binding on this is going to be basswood or maple with a maple. A maple
It's a
purfling.
sandwich.
That's what I'm looking for.
It's a sandwich.
Yeah, and the black plastic on the outside. The fingerboard and bridge are both ebony on this with a truss rod. It does have a Tusk nut and saddle. That's the TUSQ.
It's sustainable.
Yes, and then these all have this cool black satin Breedlove tuners. These are really attractive looking. Again,
Kind of a beat etched into the back of them there.
yeah, and that's another thing you'll see is the Oregon. That Bend, Oregon logo that they tie in to all the Oregon builds, which is pretty nice as well. It is a X-braced, Sitka spruce X-braced top, giving it this really cool satin finish that is in the fade too, which I think it was
Very
one thing to do
comfortable.
the gloss finish with the fade, but then they did the same fade in the neck as well. It does come in the nut width of a 1.75 or 1 3/4. Does come with a hard shell case and a scale length of 25.5 inches. So it's a full scale length. Again, these are just absolutely the custom specs on these are going to be mainly the colors, and we're going to see some more of these. I think this is what they're really kind of doing special here.
Why not get a little playful with, if everybody else has got a guitar showroom with all these traditional, either a sunburst, standard sunburst, or just a Martin traditional finish, why not do something that stands out a little bit and gives you a variation? And if you like the traditional look, they still have traditional sunburst Breedlove in the same model.
Tops
and natural tops. So you still have those options, but this is just a little something extra.
Absolutely. So they're great sounding guitars. I mean, you were just discussing who is this kind of for? I think this is for a lot of different people. I think this is for a performer, obviously. This gives character. This gives a different look, and it's something unique.
Again, you need to coordinate your outfits with your guitar, so you can have a different one for different nights.
There you go. And I also think this is for a person looking for a unique tone and playability. One thing that we cannot discount on this is Breedlove's ability to have setups that are super easy to play. These are USA builds, and this is like everything that you would want out of that unique progressive / innovative sound and feel all in one guitar. So, like I said, I really find this to be for a performer or somebody who's just wanting to have something that's unique and different, not just in looks, but as well in their tone.
What would you compare the sound to of this particular model of a Breedlove?
I think this is another thing that kind of falls into that. I don't explain it with its tone. It's a completely unique tone. Nobody else has this myrtlewood on myrtlewood sound, but yet it is based off of more that Taylor type of sound. It's, again, for a player that would want to have this, I've got this Taylor sound, I know this, but I want this like slightly divergent area of that. It's a lot like it, but it has a unique difference in there. So it is its own unique sound. It's got lots of bottom, but it's also almost kind of subdued in its own way, too.
I don't think you're going to see bluegrass players out there on the stage playing this. They still want that deep dreadnought full tone, and again, coming from a traditional world. But I think for that more strummy rhythm player, the praise and worship band,
or even these intricate passages.
Yeah. Very articulate.
There's bottom end there. There's tons of sustain. There's this unique low mid-range thing out of a smaller body guitar. I think that's pretty cool too. So again, I think this marks and carves its own path. It's not really like anything else. It's in that vein of the Taylor type of sound, but in its own way. So I think that's pretty interesting.
If you had to come up with a con to this whole series of guitars, what would it be?
The biggest con I have with this is it's so different that if you are so ingrained in a spruce top, whatever your back and sides is, this is not it. And, so if you're, to me, the biggest con is the fact that there's nothing else like that. And if you're going to go, well, this is a substitute for blah, 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 it's not that. It just is not a substitute for, it's its own thing.
It's almost carving its own path.
It is carving its own path.
So it's not for everyone. I guess
innovation.
That might be the one con if you had to come up with one that's not for everyone. It's going to be a specific customer that's just drawn to something a little bit different.
Absolutely. All right, so let's kind of get into our rating here, and we'll talk about this. We'll start with in a scale of 1 to 5, and we can break this in points or whatever you want to do.
We're doing this in like
categories. Yes, so we're going to talk around the same price point. Again, tone-wise, this was a tough one for me because I know it's a cool tone, it's unique, it's its own flavor. It doesn't totally suit me, I will say that. When you were playing it, I hear characteristics that I absolutely love, but when I play it, I don't know that I get everything out of it. So,
and you've been playing a Dreadnought Martin for 40 years, 30 years now, so you've kind of developed your feel and your approach to that big guitar.
It's that con we were talking about. I have this in my head, this is not that, so it's hard for me to do. I mean,
but if I called you in the studio and said, I'd like you to do something a little bit more articulate and play more of a strummy or finger-picking style thing, this might be a different
It gives you absolutely another flavor. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of all mahogany guitars for that same reason, so this is going to be a little bit tougher for me score-wise. That said, I still think it's a great sound, so I'm going to give it a 3.75 for tone, just because it's just not quite what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I think, obviously I come with more of a mandolin tone anyway to my playing, so I'll probably give it around a 4, because it's a little bit more bright and harsh, not harsh, but just developed.
It's kind of airy to
yeah.
it. And that's
so I would give it a 4 in my rating.
Setup and playability for this type of player, This thing is awesome. I was playing the big bends and all the stuff up the neck. Again, I'm a heavy-handed player, so I will overdrive
I didn't get
this.
to use this fret yet.
But it is absolutely pristine all the way up here. Super easy to play, very small neck profile, super comfortable to make happen. So here's where I really give it a high mark. I'm going to give this a 4.75. For me, I think it is absolutely a great setup.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. The setup on these guitars has been excellent coming into the shop without needing to do anything really to them. So I'll give it at 4.75 as well.
Okay, build quality in this price point. This is another spot where it absolutely excels. The machines look great. The colors, the build, all the way around here. The finish is absolutely clean.
Neck fit.
Everything is what I would expect and more out of this. So build quality, I'm actually going to go all the way for a 5-star build on this.
I would agree. I don't see anything in this price range that would compete with it.
Last thing, looks here. Guys, this is going to be another one of those. You either are going to love this or you're going to hate it. I know you're a big fan of this. I like the Mojito one myself better. It's a little more subdued, but I do like that fade. I love the way the grain pops on that. So again, if I was looking for something with a little bit more push, this is where I would want to go. I'm going to give it a 4.25 stars.
I think for what they did, the difficulty of making that look good and fade it the way they did, it takes a pretty skilled technician to be able to spray that and stain it to look this clear, see the grain of the wood. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 4.75, so almost all the way up there.
There you go. Absolutely. As far as Shoppe Sustainable, we
Absolutely,
know
number
this
10.
is all the way up there. This everything we know about Breedlove and Bedell tells you that this is the most sustainable guitar that you could practically get out there right now. There is so much being done. So
They really are the ones that inspired us to start our Shoppe Sustainable program, so we will plant one tree for every one of these sold because it does pass that sustainability level.
absolutely. Overall value, again, I'm going to give this really, really high
Hard
marks
shell
right
case,
now.
U.S. built instrument, very attractive, setup's excellent. Overall value, I'm going to give it a 5.
Yeah, I agree 100% on this. This hits so many marks. If you were looking for this style of guitar,
From another U.S. builder?
yeah, this is not even close. This is just a really, really high-valued instrument with their tone optimization system. They're doing things that nobody else is doing out there right now, and that is pretty darn impressive. So again, 5 stars for me as well. There you go. So what we're going to do right now is get you a little tone sample of 1 or 2 of these, and so you can kind of hear what these are all about and see if this will fit what you're looking for out of your next guitar. ladies and gentlemen, the limited edition series Oregon builds.
The Mojito
Yeah.
and the Pinot.
Pinot. Anyway, if you like these guitars, you really and don't have that budget for a USA build, I'll tell you a new thing that they've done that is really, really impressive, and we did a video on this, is their new Organic Pro. It is an all solid wood series that is an import, but they have revolutionized how you build a import brand guitar that is more mass produced, with some really cool things on how they do their bracing now, all solid woods, and at a much more affordable price. And that's their Organic Pro series. We did a review of some of those models as well, and you can see the video for it right here in the center of your screen. Click on that and check out more stuff from Breedlove. And again, we hope to see you on our next video. It's been a whole bunch of fun.
We'll be here, will you?
No, they better be. They have to be. So, all right, we'll see you guys next time.